everyone. Welcome to Tennessee's At Home Learning Series for Math. Today's lesson is for all of our first graders out there, although anyone is more than welcome to tune in. Today's lesson will be the first in our series. My name is Miss Sarah, and I'm a first grade teacher at Baxter Primary School in Putnam County School System. I'm so excited that I get to be your teacher today. Welcome to our virtual classroom. Today's lesson is all about how to use a 10 frame in math. But before we get started and to participate fully in today's lesson, you are going to need 2 different colored crayons or pencils, a piece of paper and a regular pencil, and a surface to write on. Okay, let's begin. First, we are going to draw a 10 frame. A 10 frame is made of 2 5 frames put together. We are going to start by drawing a large rectangle. I will draw one first. Now you draw a rectangle. Excellent job. Now we are going to divide our rectangle in half like a hot dog bun. Now you divide your rectangle in half. Awesome. The last step is to create our columns. We are going to add 4 lines just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you add 4 lines. Wonderful job. I want you to count the spaces that are in the top row. After you do that, show them to someone sitting close to you. Excellent. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 spaces in the top row. If you counted 5, I want you to stand up and I want you to jump up and down 5 times. Whew, you guys have some moves. Guess how many spaces you think there are on the bottom row? Say that number out loud. Now let's count and see if you're right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did you say 5 spaces in the bottom row? You may have guessed that there were 5 spaces on the bottom row because there are 5 spaces in the top row. And the top and the bottom row match. So if there are 5 spaces on top and 5 spaces on the bottom, how many spaces are there altogether? Let's see if you're right. We can figure that out by counting all of the spaces if we need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We might also know that if there are 5 on top and 5 on the bottom, that 5 plus 5 equals 10. And there are 10 spaces all together on our 10 frame. You did such a great job drawing a 10 frame. Let's practice with a problem. We are going to look at our friend's garden. Let's read this problem together. You are more than welcome to read along with me if you would like. David saw 4 flowers blooming in his dad's garden. The next day, there were three more flowers blooming. How many flowers did David see blooming in the garden? You did such an excellent job reading. Tell me, what's happening in this story? Oh, David saw some flowers in his garden? Yes. How many flowers did David see first? Right. He saw four flowers first. What happened on the next day? I heard you say that on the next day, David saw three more flowers blooming. Yes, and we know that because we can find it in our story. The next day, there were three more flowers blooming. Let's draw or model what is happening in this story. You told me that David saw four flowers first, so I'm going to put one flower in each space. I'm going to choose to pick a shape instead of drawing flowers in each box. This is just a little bit more efficient, it's quicker, and a little bit easier to draw and will be easier to count. We will start at the top here and work our way to the right, just like we would when we're reading a book. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why did we need to draw four flowers? Right, because David saw four flowers first. I want you to say out loud again what happened next. Right, he saw three more flowers blooming on the next day. I'm going to add three more flowers on our tin frame, but this time I'm going to use a different color. 1, 2, 3. How can I figure out the total number of flowers? Oh, of course. I already know that there are four flowers in the first group. So I can just start at the number 4 and count the rest of them. Will you count with me? 4, 5, 6, 7. So how many flowers were blooming altogether? 7. That's right. Great job. Let's count it one more way. Remember how you told me that there are 5 spaces in the top row? Instead of starting at 4 flowers, let's start with that full row because we know that the top always has 5 spaces. Count with me. 5, 6, 7. 7 spaces are full. That means that 4 flowers plus 3 flowers equals 7 flowers. We have 7 spaces full and 3 spaces empty. You did such a great job. I want you to stand up again and spin around 7 times. Excellent. Let's practice using a tin frame together this time. We're going to read another story about Claire, and Claire is watching the bird feeder that's in her yard. Let's read this problem together, and of course, you're more than welcome to read with me. Claire watched 6 birds land on her bird feeder. A few minutes later, three more birds landed on the feeder. How many birds were on the bird feeder? You did such an excellent job of reading. What's happening in this story? Oh, Claire is watching six birds on her feeder, and then three more birds flew in. Right. How many birds did Claire see first? So there were six birds at first? Right. What happened next? Somebody was saying that three more birds landed on the feeder. We know that's correct because we can find that in the story. A few minutes later, three more birds landed on the feeder. Let's draw or model what's happening in this story together. Earlier, you made a 10 frame. So while I'm drawing my 10 frame, would you please find the 10 frame that you made in two different colors of markers or crayons? You told me that Claire saw six birds first. So I am going to put six circles, one for each bird, in the 10 frame. Remember, we will start at the top right here and we will work our way to the right, just like we would if we were reading a book. Now, pick a color and make the circles with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Say out loud why we needed to draw six circles. Right, because Claire saw six birds first. Whew, what happened next? Awesome. Claire saw three more birds land on the feeder next. So, with your other color, we need to add three more circles to our 10 frame. Do this with me. 1, 2, 3. How can we figure out the total number of birds? Of course, we can count. Will you count with me? Let's start with the first set of birds that were on the feeder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or we could just start at 6 since we know that there were six birds on the feeder first. So let's add the birds that flew in. Count with me, starting at 6. 6, 7, 8, 9. There's another way to count. Remember, you told me that there were 5 spaces in the top row. We can start at 5 and then add on the rest of the numbers. Let's do it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So how many birds are eating together? 9. Is that right? Great job. We are working so hard. We counted our 10 frame in 3 different ways. I noticed that 9 spaces are full and there is 1 empty space. I want you to stand up and I want you to please flap your wings like a bird 9 times. You are doing such a great job of not giving up. Let's see if you can use a 10 frame to model the next situation. Let's read this problem together. You can read along with me again if you would like. After the rainstorm, Max saw 9 slimy worms on the sidewalk. One more worm crawled out of the dirt. Max picked them all up. How many worms does he have? Draw another 10 frame with me. We start by drawing one large rectangle. Next, we draw a line straight across, cutting it in half like a hot dog bun. And last, we make our columns by adding 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to think about the starting number. How many worms were there at the beginning? With your crayon, your colored pencil, or your marker, I want you to draw a shape or a worm in the spaces that show the beginning number of worms. Now, I want you to think about how many more worms crawled up. With your second color, fill in the number of spaces for how many worms crawled up next. I want you to explain what you did out loud. I'm going to fill in my 10 frame now, and I want you to look and see if your 10 frame matches mine. So at the beginning, Max saw 9 slimy worms on the sidewalk. So I picked my first color, and I'm going to fill in 9 spaces. Next, one more worm crawled out of the dirt. So I'm going to use my other color to fill in 1 more space. Hold up your 10 frame. Does it look like mine? I want you to count the number of worms in your 10 frame. Did you count 9 worms plus 1 more worm? Wave your elbow if that was your method. Did you know that there were 5 spaces on top, so you didn't need to count them, plus the 5 spaces on the bottom? Clap twice if that was your method. How many spaces were filled up? How many spaces were empty? You are right. If all of the spaces are filled up in a 10 frame and there aren't any more empty spaces, then the model is showing us 10. Awesome job. We have done a lot of work together today. Thank you so much for drawing 10 frames with me. You have 5 problems to work on by yourself. I'm going to read them to you now so you can work on them after the show. You are going to use those 2 different colors that you were using earlier to model the story in the 10 frame. You can draw your 10 frames just like we practiced today and fill them in to find the answers. Let's look at the example first, and then I will read you the rest. Here's our example. Jack caught 4 fish. His brother caught 2 fish. How many fish did the brothers catch? So with their first color, they did 4 circles for the number of fish that Jack caught. And then for the number of fish that his brother caught, they added 2 more circles in the other color. We can find out how many fish the brothers caught by counting the 4, 4, 5, 6, or because we know there are 5 in the top row, we can start at 5. 5, 6. So there were 6 fish that the brothers caught. So I'll add 6 in the blank. Let's read the next one. Sam found 2 dimes on the rug. Matthew found 6 dimes on the chair. How many dimes were found? Three otters were playing in the aquarium display. 4 more otters joined the fun. How many otters were playing? Your dog, Spot, has 5 squeaker toys in his bucket. Mom found 2 more under the couch. How many toys does Spot have? There's 1 duck swimming in the pond. 7 more ducks land beside her and start to swim. How many ducks are swimming? 7 cows were eating in the north field, and 3 cows were grazing in the south field. How many cows were eating grass? Boys and girls, I enjoyed doing some math with you today. Thank you so much for inviting me into your home. I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson in Tennessee's At Home Learning Series. See everyone tomorrow.
You don't have to be a great reader to create a love of reading in your child. Just having books in the home can help. Let your baby hold them. Read with energy. Try using different voices for characters. Use the pictures to spark conversation. Engaging with books every day at an early age creates a love of learning and builds strong thinkers. Enroll your child at governorsfoundation.org to receive an Imagination Library book each month at no cost.
Today we are competing at the Tennessee State Junior Chef Contest. Well, my mom's cooking is actually the best. We typically always complained about our cooking and it was pretty bad. So I figured that I would get into culinary and cooking.
Want and hope to have my own restaurant in the future.
If you want to try something new, you can try it. Pollo Chili Loco, barbecue chicken pizza, savory pork over autumn roasted vegetables.
I am the chef for Metro Nashville Public Schools. Primarily, I'm looking to see if it's feasible to execute this recipe in schools.
Has 5 minutes left.
And this is actually taking them out of their local county. For a lot of them, the very first time they've ever been to Nashville.
I know there's like a lot of math in culinary. I'm actually taking extra math classes.
30 seconds left.
Honestly, it really helps you make friends, and you've got to learn to be able to talk, to communicate, use teamwork.
Just about good right here? Yeah.
Yeah.
This being the second time making it, we did great, guys. This was so hard.
It's really good. We have to make it look good. You know, of course, we hope it is good.
This year's competition winner and the recipient of $48,000 in scholarship money is DeKalb County High School.
I'm so happy. It's one of the best feelings in the world. It honestly is. I'm already going to Sullivan, and this just helps tremendously.
The value parents place on reading makes a big difference in a child's reading and language development. You don't have to be a teacher or a great reader to create and nurture a love of reading in your child. It's beyond words on a page. It's about using stories to engage your child in the world around them. Start early because language development begins at birth. Exposing children to books early enriches their daily lives and builds strong thinkers. Just having books in the home, no matter your comfort level in reading aloud, can help a child grow to love reading and learning. Let your baby touch, feel, and even chew on the books.
Bah, said Gregory unhappily. Let me see your unhappy face.
Ask your child questions about the book and experiences the characters are having. Use the pictures to spark meaningful, engaging conversation, relating pictures to things in the child's day-to-day routine. Share the joy of books by bringing the story to life. Read with enthusiasm and energy in any language. Try using different voices for different characters.
It's that we're all here together.
Make up a funny story using the pictures, or act out characters and sounds animals make.
Hey.
Encourage your child to copy you and make his or her own noises.
That's good. That's good.
And most of all, reading with children and exposing them to books from the moment they're born instills an everlasting love of reading and learning that they'll have for the rest of their lives.